Hi, Joseph. I want to thank you for sending in your material for our testing on our Clicker 1500. Got both your materials here, the neoprene and the fabric. And what I'm going to do, Joe, is I don't have a die that I can mount to the top of the press like you wanted to. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set the material down on the cutting board, and then I will simulate it being on top by putting the die on top of that. Now this die here is for one of our other customers. It has two large ovals with registration pins. This is actually for pictures, but we can use it to demonstrate the cutting ability of the press. Now what I'm going to do is I have a .813 cutting board, which is thick enough for the steel rule dies. The Clicker dies have a 1/2 inch cutting board. That's the only difference on the adjustments on the machine. So what I'm going to do here is first I'm going to take one layer of your material. On a steel rule die, you can only go down so far because the 937 dies, the blade is sticking inside of the foam here. And the foam is going to keep your parts from sticking inside the cavities on a steel rule die. Slide that in. See how that cuts. That we did not get a very good cut on. So what I'm thinking is that the Clicker dies are going to be a better option for you, but you won't be able to get as much on it. Now, we have several Clicker dies here that I can try to use. Before I do that though, I'm going to go ahead and test this other steel rule die. It's a smaller steel rule die. Put that in here. This one seemed to cut out very cleanly. Now that might be the difference in the die patterns here, because remember now I've got a lot of foam inside that other die. So I think this is going to work for you on the neoprene. You'll only be able to slide it through one at a time. You won't be able to get a larger stack of material. Now, if you wanted to use a Clicker die, we can also go 2, 3. We'll go ahead and try 4 layers with a Clicker die. Now, the only difference is, again, the cutting board thickness, which I'm going to change that out real quick. Put a 1/2 inch in here. We'll set your material down on it. Put our Clicker die on top. We'll slide that in. And the Clicker dies will cut out your material just fine. Now 4 layers was a little difficult for that. So we may have to go down to 2 layers. 2 layers seem to cut fine on it.
Suntech line 1. Suntech line 1.
We'll take and snip this off here and do the test with another steel rule die. As I said, the steel rule die, I believe this is going to be the best one for you, with the ejection foam around the edges, not all the way through. Again. Sorry about that. I had the wrong board. Again, switching the boards do make a difference. Slide that in. Again, it cuts out very cleanly with that type of die. As you can see, the parts come out pretty clean. Okay, now with the steel rule die, you can do one layer. With the clicker die, you can probably do two with that. Now we'll try it with your fabric.
Camera set call 91, please. Camera set call 91.
Now I've got it set up with 4 layers of fabric here, which is still enough to, the steel rule die should be able to get through. So we're going to go ahead and slide that in. And again, the material. Now that's with 4 layers of material being cut at the same time with the steel rule die. Now as far as your patterns go, if you have 2 cavities in each die, you can probably get 2 punches out of it. Now with the clicker die, switch the board again. And we'll try it with the clicker die, which should not be a problem for this machine. Two layers again is about all you're going to get out of that, Joe. Get 2 layers of fabric out of each die. Now, if you use a sacrificial piece of paper, which I'll demonstrate real quick, just use a regular, this piece of stock paper we have here. Okay, I'll fold this up a little bit. And I'll use a different die here. I'll use the circle die on it to get the right spot here. Again, I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 layers there, Joe. We did 6 layers that time with the clicker die. Depending on your sharpness of your die and how you want to modify the machine, I think it'll work out fine for you. The steel rule dies of this type with the ejection foam around the edges of the blade, I think is going to work the best for you. I'll send you this video and we'll talk about it on Monday. Have a nice Easter. Thank you.